almost every day writing this collection of essays. 1.5 years of my life. I had to have my desk chair at first reupholstered, then eventually replaced due to the overuse. I also had microneedling on my rear end, which had taken on the shape of my chair from chronic sitting. How I suffered to bring you this future award-winning work of art. Also, I'm not a writer, not in the sense of writing for a profession, but I've written plenty of forwards for other people's books, not to mention cover quotes, speeches for other people's book tours, and my fair share of talks for New York's 92nd Street Y. I've also written some scripts that you've never heard of, but let me state for the record that I have no expertise in the world of books or publishing. As a matter of fact, I don't have any expertise in most of the crafts in which I've earned a living for the past 30-plus years. Some people are gifted, some people have ghostwriters, and some people are me. I'm also incredibly risk-averse and frequently prone to regret. So, I was about to call this whole thing off, even though I was 99% done due to the chatter of the press release ratcheting up. Personally, I think my very perceptive editor was on to me and sensed I might pull the plug on this entire thing. And she was not wrong, as the idea had crossed my mind several times. It's crossing my mind now, even after the announcement. In fact, I wish you would put this audiobook down right now and stop listening. Go ahead. I'll wait. It's a funny thing to write a book, especially one of personal essays, which I thought would be easier and frothier than writing a memoir, which seemed like a nightmare of an idea. But once I got started, I realized right away that organizing life events in a series of short stories with a beginning, middle, and end was way more complicated and rife with landmines than I anticipated. I thought it would be an easy breezy, funny jog down memory lane. But some of the memories weren't easy, breezy, or funny. Some made me depressed. Some made me angry. Some left me stunned at myself for accepting such unacceptable treatment for such a long time. Writing a book is a lot, like a lot. Now that it's done, now that I've done it, I feel I owe it to you and to me to be as honest as I possibly can without violating any of the myriad NDAs and confidentiality agreements I had to sign with my current employer. There were several times in this process when I regretted the decision to do this at all because A, I don't know what I'm doing, B, just because I like to read books doesn't qualify me to write one, C, so many of my friends have done this and have encouraged me to do the same that I fear I just caved into their peer pressure, and D, I am too old to fall victim to peer pressure. But, and there's always a but, what I realized in my recollections is that often things that appear easy are really quite difficult. And while nobody's life is perfect, there were times when I was called upon to make mine appear as close as possible. I did my job day after day, making it look fun and easy when at times, and let me be really real here, it was none of those things. But as a woman, I stood up and did the job I had to do. Playing a character is what all women do. But playing yourself on television is the hardest role I've ever had, especially when I started before I even knew who I really was. Maybe that's why I decided to call the book Live Wire, because Becoming by Michelle Obama was already taken, and my editor thought Uneducated was too derivative. Because I'm a fatalist, when things started to feel comfortable, I started looking for signs that I should stop or pull out. I checked fortune cookies, read horoscopes, and asked Audrey Slater, my stylist, who seems to know things. But the most prophetic input I received came from two surprising and very unlikely sources. And although I hate to name drop in the introduction, I fear I must. Mega best-selling author James Patterson